Okay, so on this one, we've got a quadratic equation, U-shaped parabola, and we have this graph. Let's identify the vertex. So we're just going through, we're seeing some different things. The vertex is this point right here, which is what? Over 3, down 4. Over 3, down 4 with parentheses around it. Identify the y-intercept. Where's that? That's right here. Because that's where the graph hits the y-axis. This one's the x-axis, right? So the y-intercept, what is this point? This is over 0, up 5, isn't it? Over 0. So remember, it's a point, meaning it's got an x and a y coordinate. Over 0, up 5. We can't just say 5. It's a point. That's the point that for which they're saying this. It's got two numbers to it. It's got an x and a y. Over 0, up 5. And then identify the x-intercepts. That's here and here. Right? This one is over 1, up 0. And this one is over 5, up 0. Again, those are points, which means those have two numbers to them. You can't just say 1 and 5. You got to say 1, 0, 1, 0 with parentheses around it, and 5, 0 with parentheses around it. They have two numbers for them. Okay, and then it says, write an equation in factored form. Factored form. How do we write an equation in factored form? Well, that's going to be, and I have that here. Let me put that in the notes for you. Come on down here. There it is. So from the notes, this is from the exam. Oops. Exam 2 notes. So from a graph to the equation in factored form, what do? Identify the x-intercepts, write the equation k x minus value, x minus value. Okay, so I'm going to go, okay. So let me bring it up here for a second, maybe. It's going to be y equals k, x minus value, x minus value from the notes. So that's k, x minus 1, and x minus 5. The 1 and the 5, the two x-intercepts. X-intercept value, okay? Now, how do you find the k? Well, now from the notes, now find k by plugging in a new point other than the two x-intercepts, either the y-intercept or the vertex. Okay. So I could plug in the vertex point, or I could plug in the y-intercept. It doesn't really matter. Maybe I'll plug in the y-intercept. Already got that. So the y, already got both of them. You can totally do either one. Y-intercept, which is right here, 0, 5. Remember, this is an x, this is a y. So plug this in for x and plug this in for y. So what do you get? You get 5 equals k, x minus, and we're plugging in what for x? 0. Well, for x, what am I doing there? That was terrible. Try that again. Okay, so for x, which is 0, and for x, which is 0, minus 1, minus 5. So I just plug that in for x right here, and here I put in the 0, right? And so that's 5 equals k times minus 1. Oops, pen slip there. Minus 5. 5 equals k times 5, right? Because negative 1 times negative 5 is positive 5. And then last step to get k alone, divide by 5. Boom, k equals 1. Got it. So that's how you find k. So what's my formula? It's y. So you'll put the 1 right here. Okay, that's 1. So it's 1 parenthesis x minus 1, x minus 5. There it is. 1 parenthesis x minus 1, x minus 5. There's the equation. That's how you find an equation from a graph. Not making sense what I did there. I just look at the two x-intercepts. I plug in I write x minus 1 and x minus 5 with a k in the front. Now, why does this work, by the way? I don't want this to be totally magical. Why can you write parenthesis x minus x-intercept value and then another parenthesis x minus x-intercept value? Well, because at these points, look at the coordinates. The x is 1, the y is 0. The x is 5, the y is 0. So in both cases, y is 0. These are the points where y is 0. So that makes sense then that at these points, at 1, if you plug in a 1, what's going to happen here? 1 minus 1, this is going to be 0. And 0 times k times whatever the other parentheses is, if you have a 0 and you multiply any number of things with it, it's still going to be 0. Y is going to be 0. So that makes sense, doesn't it? Whenever you find the x-intercept points, that's where the height is 0, where the y is 0. So that means x minus that must be in the parentheses multiplied, because that's how it becomes 0. When you plug in 1, this piece is now 0. Or if you plug in 5 here at that spot, this piece is now 0. If you make either one of those 0, they're going to multiply to make y be 0, because 0 times anything is 0. That's why that works. All right, and last step, write the equation of the axis of symmetry. That would be piece of cake. Axis of symmetry, that's the line right here that goes right down the middle of the U shape. Right there, you can see that hits the x-axis at 3. It goes right through the x-axis at 3. So that's x equals 3. And there we